Hi, this is Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy review. And this time we're taking a look at the Thundercats Mummy Mumm-Ra figure. And this is from the Thundercats toy line from LJN, and this guy came out in 1986. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the figure. Alright, so taking a look at the Mummy Mumm-Ra figure. So this is from the Thundercats toy line, one of my favorite toy lines of all time, from LJN, and this was a mail-away figure. Now, you could also get him in the Mumm-Ra's playset, but this, you know, during the series 2 and 3 of the toy line, on the back of the packaging, they actually had a mail-away where you could get, there's points on each of the packaging, and I think a standard figure was 2 points. Some of the like the medium-sized vehicles, and I think the Mumm-Ra playset as well was 4 points, and then the Cat Slayer was 6 points. And then what you do is once you got a total of 6 points, you could mail away with I think you had to pay $1.25 in postage at that time, and you mailed that away, and then in like several months they would send you this figure, which is pretty cool. But obviously, it's a very important part of the toy line. This is the mummy version of Mumm-Ra. We had the other version when he's in his full-out mode, but this is the actual mail-away version of him. Now, really cool figure, very basic. I mean, as far as articulation, super basic. He basically can move his arms, and that's it. And then his head turns a little bit, but it's kind of restricted. His head's actually a soft, like rubber, and then his body is actually hard plastic, but pretty decent looking figure. He does come with his staff, which looks great. I mean, everything looks good on this guy. Now, you can put the staff in the other hand. It's just the way that this hand is done. There's not much. You kind of have to force it in. It really looks, as far as the molding is concerned, that it should be in his right hand, which is on the left there. But I mean, let's take a closer look at this guy. There you can see that mummy face. I mean, the detailing looks great. Like I said, this, the toy line started in 1985. This guy came in 86, and it looks good. You can see the nice look in this. His eyes are painted nicely. The molding in his face definitely gives him that old decrepit look. As we kind of go on the back, you can see how he's kind of like arching over. He's almost got like a hunchback, and he's got that hood that goes around. Everything just looks great on his face. Here you can see his hands in the center of his body. He's got, the bandages going down. Here you can see that one hand that can hold the staff. He's got a little bit of, obviously, paint coming off. This guy's pretty old. You could force the staff in there, but it's not super easy to do. And then here's his other hand that actually is designed more to hold it and holding weapons. And at the very bottom of the figure, you can see his toes. They're pointed, very long base. This guy stands very well, which is nice. So you can see the nice thing right here. Now, this guy is stamped on his copyright stuff. It is 1985, but this guy was actually released in 86. You can get him during Wave 2 and 3. But it looks good overall, and you can see that his cloak kind of opens to show more of the feet and the bandages when we get closer to the feet. And there you can see the staff. It's got that almost like bull type look to him. It's got the red horns. Obviously, it's old. The paint's a little bit fading on him, but you can see it's got, even the teeth were painted a little bit. And as we kind of go to the side, you can see the way that staff was supposed to look, and it looks good. It's a pretty long staff. It's actually pretty substantial. The plastic is pretty nice. I see a lot of these on eBay broken, the staffs. It's pretty amazing to think that somebody broke this. I mean, you'd have to really go above and beyond to break it. It's not like a cheap sword with the hilt is really thin. This is a pretty thick looking staff. for size comparison, here we have Mumm-Ra's Tomb playset, and here we have the mail-away figure. Like I said, he did come with this as well, but you know, you could also mail away. But this is roughly what the size would be. I mean, it's pretty small looking, you know, small compared to the playset, because this is a smaller figure in the Thundercats toy line. They basically had like a medium-sized characters, and then they had like the larger characters, like Lion-O and Mumm-Ra. The regular Mumm-Ra were actually much larger than the other Thundercats figures in the toy line. And this guy, because of his hunchback, he was definitely on the smaller end of the medium-sized figures. But this just gives you kind of a scale to show. Like, here's my hand. You can see that this thing is really, really large. The playset's pretty large, and you know, he definitely looks really cool. And lastly, for size comparison, here we have the Mummy Mumm-Ra figure next to the regular Mumm-Ra, and you can definitely see, look at the size comparison. I mean, it almost looks like he's double the size with his headdress on. I mean, that's how big the regular Lion-O and the regular Mumm-Ra were. They were just larger figures. Mumm-Ra is probably one of the bigger ones because he's bulkier, but you can see this is how they were. Now, obviously, this guy to me is, you know, more cartoon accurate than this guy. This guy definitely is kind of, you know, his physique and his everything was kind of embellished. He still looks good, and is still obviously one of my favorite figures of all time. I really have a, you know, a lot of nostalgia for this toy line and that figure specifically. But you can see this is how they look. Now, they obviously did a newer version of the Thundercats toy line, and that Mumm-Ra is very cartoon accurate. But this guy, you know, this is what I had when I was a child, and you know, I love these figures. This is, you know, one of my favorite characters in, you know, cartoon history, and some of my favorite action figures, and it looks really great. And like I said, you could get this guy with the playset or with the mail away if you collected the Thundercats points in the back of each packaging. But another great figure. I love this guy. He's one of my favorites. I love displaying him with the other Mumm-Ra. And once again, this has been Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and I will see you guys next time.